Hello, my fellow subjects of the internet out there. This is the Aromantic Shipper back again with yet another video. So, a year ago, I released a video rewriting Sakura Haruno from the Naruto series, and it seemed to do pretty well, becoming my 5th most viewed video on my channel. So, I thought I'd capitalize on it and talk about how to improve another character from the Naruto series, Konan. Now, Konan might seem like an odd character to focus an entire rewrite on, considering that she is a relatively minor character in the series. However, despite being a side villain, Konan still has managed to acquire a lot of fans who are largely in agreement on the fact that she should have gotten more screen time and importance in the narrative. She has a cool design and cool powers, but pretty much all of the original Akatsuki members are arguably more important than her. And I was certainly among the people who wished Konan had gotten more to do in the series. First, we have to establish the main issue with Konan's character in the series, and it's an issue plaguing a lot of the female characters in the series. Konan doesn't really have independent motivations. Her character was implicitly tied to Yahiko, as she was following his dream. Then, after Yahiko dies, Konan switches to supporting Nagato and following his dream, and then when Nagato changes his mind and gives up on his dream, instead choosing to believe in Naruto, Konan then just immediately turns around and decides to also believe in Naruto, and turns on Tobi. Konan just feels less like her own independent character and more like an extension of the will of the male characters surrounding her. So fixing that issue is at the core of this rewrite. Now, my original idea for a rewrite of Konan's character was to have it be so that she does not immediately change her mind after Nagato dies. Instead, Tobi comes to her and tells her his plans of creating an infinite Tsukuyomi. She wants to return to a world where Nagato and Yahiko are still alive, so she ultimately supports Tobi in his plans, and fights on his side during the 4th Shinobi World War. This would have Konan feel like much less of an extension of Nagato, and would have given her more to do in the rest of the series, rather than having her quickly be killed off by Tobi. However, after thinking about this idea for a while, I realized I don't really like it very much. Firstly, it removes arguably the best moment with Konan in the original series, which is her last stand against Tobi with the 600 million paper bombs. And on top of that, her motivations are ultimately still centered around Yahiko and Nagato, as she is trying to return to a world where they are still alive. And while she is around in the series for longer, contributing in the 4th Great Shinobi World War, it's just as Tobi's puppet, so she still isn't really especially important. I knew that my rewrite of Konan wasn't really that good, so I really wasn't planning on ever creating a whole video rewriting her. That was until I found my muse. You see, one of my viewers happened to be far more creative than I was. A fanfic writer going by Net has been leaving extremely thoughtful comments on several of my video essays that I am just incredibly thankful for. And on my Sakura rewrite video, Net wrote multiple humongous comment threads talking about their ideas for a rewrite of Konan's character. And let me just say, I absolutely loved it. I thought it was fantastic and so incredibly creative. It is the inspiration for this video, and I just had to mention Net's contributions, because the bulk of the ideas expressed in this rewrite don't come from me. This video is basically just an edited and workshopped version of Net's original rewrite. So yeah, major props to them. Anyway, with that disclaimer out of the way, on with the rewrite. So, the changes to Konan's character begin after the death of Jiraiya. In this rewrite, after Pain kills her, we see Konan retrieving his body from the water. She buries him, still showing that she cares a great deal about her former sensei, and asks Pain if it was truly necessary to end his life. After all, he could have been useful in blackmailing Naruto, or using him to lure him to them to rescue Jiraiya. But Pain just responds that Jiraiya was too dangerous to be left alive, and the Nine Tails will soon be within their grasp anyway. Konan's emotional response to her sensei's death contrasts with Pain's cold and uncaring demeanor, and is the first sign of a rift forming between her and Nagato. It also makes her more complex and independent, as she is reacting to events differently than him. This is followed up with during Pain's invasion of the Leaf Village. During the original arc, Konan was there, and she briefly fought the Aburame clan, but when one really stops to think about it, Konan contributed absolutely nothing to the Pain arc whatsoever. You could literally remove her entirely and just have Nagato there, and nothing would change. So let's fix that. In my Sakura rewrite video, I offhandedly mentioned that Sakura should have had a fight with Konan during the invasion of the Leaf Village, in order to give both characters more focus. In this video, I am going to be expanding on that fight because it is going to have quite a lot of significance. After Sakura takes out some of the animal summonings with Shikamaru, Shino shows up and tells the two shinobi about another invader in the Leaf Village besides the Pains, a kunoichi who can manipulate paper as well as turn herself into paper. Shino says he barely managed to get away from her alive, and he doesn't know if his father made it out. The three shinobi decide to pull up on Konan together to take her down, and see that she ended up killing Shino's father. In the fight that ensues, Sakura is able to use the same mind-probing genjutsu that she used on Gaara that I talked about in my Sakura rewrite, only to much greater effect this time. Sakura traps Konan in a genjutsu that is difficult to break out of. The ruins of the Leaf Village around her transform into the ruins of her own village, during the Second Great Ninja War. We see genjutsu flashbacks of the war from her own perspective, the devastation, the carnage. We see her parents being killed in their home by a paper bomb explosion, except rather than a Leaf Village ninja, the genjutsu makes Konan set off the paper bombs. Sakura is messing with Konan's head, connecting her trauma with the horrific destruction brought upon her home to the destruction that she and Nagato are now bringing upon the Leaf Village. Konan manages to break out of Sakura's genjutsu during the fight, but it's clear that it had a significant effect on her. Konan's doubts about what she and Nagato are doing have bubbled to the surface, and Sakura uses this vulnerability to perform talk no jutsu on her throughout the fight. She points out how much of a hypocrite Konan is, repeating the cycle of pain and suffering that she experienced firsthand during her childhood, and telling Konan the names of people facing the attack on the village, and how that was Shino's father that she had killed. She questions Konan about how she can think that she is in the right when she is murdering people who just want to protect their home. With Konan off her guard, Sakura, Shino, and Shikamaru begin winning the fight as they figure out how to counter her paper technique with clever strategy, Shino's parasitic insects, and the use of her own paper bombs. Konan ultimately ends up retreating. And then we get to Pain's almighty push. In the original series, Konan was somewhat concerned about how far Nagato had gone, but in this rewrite, Konan is instead screaming at him, asking him, "How could you possibly do such a thing? So many are dead, futures destroyed, memories lost, all in an instant, and for what?" Nagato responds saying, "It is a necessary step in the service of our greater goals of bringing peace." But Konan launches back at him, saying, "There was no reason for you to go so far as to destroy the entire Leaf Village. This wasn't about bringing peace, Nagato, it was about revenge. What you're doing is no different from what the Leaf Village did to our home all those years ago." Nagato responds coldly, "Konan, I have no need of you on the battlefield. Return to protect my real body. That is an order." Konan begrudgingly agrees, and the Pain vs. Naruto fight commences. But then we get to Naruto's confrontation with Nagato. In the original series, Konan basically just stood there throughout the whole thing, not adding anything to the conversation, and just letting Nagato sacrifice himself to use Rinne Rebirth on the Leaf Village. But that changes in this rewrite. After Nagato reveals his backstory to Naruto, Naruto of course tries to use Talk no Jutsu on him. However, unlike in the original series, Naruto's attempts to change Nagato's mind are actually unsuccessful. He fails. A lot of people make fun of the fact that Naruto was able to make Nagato change his mind after a single strongly worded conversation, after Nagato was shown to be so committed to his ideals that he destroyed an entire village for them. I personally think it works alright as a story decision, especially considering the direct connection the two characters have due to Jiraiya Sensei. It certainly isn't as ridiculous of a use of Talk no Jutsu compared to other future uses. Obito. But yeah, when you look at the whole thing objectively, Nagato's turnaround is a powerful moment, but also quite contrived. So in this rewrite, Nagato remains steadfast in his goals, even after listening to Naruto's speech. Nagato is convinced that Naruto is just an ignorant idealist. Thus, he tells Naruto once again that his only purpose is to be used as a tool for his own method of creating peace, and goes to capture him. But Nagato is stopped in his tracks. He starts coughing up blood and says, "Konan, why?" And then he dies. While Naruto's words were unsuccessful in moving Nagato, they were successful in moving Konan, who was listening silently in the background. This makes more sense than Nagato changing his mind, as in this rewrite, Konan was shown to be much more in touch with her sense of compassion, questioning the attack on the Leaf Village much more, and really outwardly disagreeing with Nagato's actions. And Sakura's previous use of Talk no Jutsu softened her up for Naruto to be the straw that broke the camel's back. So yes, ultimately Nagato is killed by Konan instead of sacrificing himself. Konan is in tears, but realizes that by that point Nagato was too far gone. He was never going to change his mind, and he had become the very thing he hated, so Konan had to be the one to do it. Naruto, shocked, asks why Konan did what she did, and Konan responds, "Nagato wasn't there anymore. All that was left was pain. We really did want to make the world a better place. We wanted to create peace, but we lost ourselves along the way. Thank you, Naruto, for making me realize that. And Sakura, too. I'm sorry for everything." "What will you do now?" Naruto asks. Konan responds, "I will continue Yahiko's dreams, but on my own terms. I will return to the Rain Village and step in as leader. The Leaf Village will want revenge after this, so I will put all the blame on Pain and do everything I can to negotiate a peace settlement. It may be naive, but I choose to believe in you, Naruto. You know, you really do remind me a lot of him." Konan also warns Naruto about the fact that Madara is the one pulling the strings, just like Minato did. She then gives Naruto the bouquet and takes Nagato and Yahiko's bodies back to the Rain Village. Of course, with this massive change to the end of the Pain invasion arc, this means that Nagato never uses Rinne Rebirth to bring back all the villagers back to life that he killed. But honestly, I think this works to the story's advantage. The Pain invasion arc was the first and really only time that the series truly felt like characters were casually being killed left and right. It brought a level of tension to the series that was never captured anywhere else. The issue is, all of it was completely reversed by Nagato's decision to bring everyone back to life in the end, with the only lasting loss being the destruction of the physical infrastructure. However, it didn't need to be this way, because none of the people who died during Pain's invasion are super important in the following war arc, with the obvious exception of Kakashi. So in this version of events, Kakashi gets close to death, and is able to speak with his dead father, but is saved by Sakura before he is able to kick the bucket. But as for the rest, including Choji's grandfather, Grandpa Toad, and Shizune, and in this rewrite, Shino's father, they stay dead. Shizune dying would honestly be able to add more to Tsunade's character development anyway, before her final sacrifice in the war arc that I talked about in my Sakura rewrite. Thus, after the battle, there is a much less optimistic tone, as the characters must mourn the hundreds of shinobi who gave their lives. With Konan now leading the Hidden Rain Village, she is obviously in a very perilous position, as the current Hokage Danzo has no intention of letting the Rain Village off the hook unscathed. But she also has to prepare for an attack by Madara that she knows is coming, ever since she betrayed him by killing Nagato. Since Danzo dies fighting Sasuke, Madara/Obito attacks the village first, attempting to steal Nagato's Rinnegan. He tells Konan that if she just gives up Nagato's corpse, then the infinite Tsukuyomi will allow her to be with Nagato and Yahiko again, in a world without war. But she tells Obito she isn't about to give him what she wants just for a fantasy. She of course uses her prepared 600 million paper bombs plan to try to kill him, but her plan fails and she is killed by Obito. Except...
it's a lie!
That's right, in this rewrite, Konan actually survives her encounter with Obito. Why does Obito decide to spare her? Well, we'll get to that in my upcoming Obito Uchiha rewrite. But for right now, going back to Konan, she is still critically injured but is saved by some of the villagers in the Hidden Rain. After healing from her injuries, Konan continues to play a significant role in the story going forward. After the attack on the Hidden Rain, Konan decides that the village cannot survive without Nagato if it doesn't have alliances. Thus, she successfully negotiates with the 5 great nations for a guarantee of non-aggression towards the Rain Village. In return, Konan pledges the elite fighting force of the Hidden Rain Village to the united coalition against Madara in the war, to make up for the Leaf Ninja that were killed during Pain's assault. And Konan also starts to ease the Hidden Rain Village out of dictatorship, ends its isolation from the rest of the world, and shares any information she has about Madara/Obito to the Shinobi Alliance. I feel like this is a really important and necessary addition to the story, because in the original series, after Konan dies, the Hidden Rain Village is just kind of forgotten about. I mean, really, we never see what ultimately happened to it, which is a pretty big oversight since there were a ton of things left unaddressed regarding its place in the world. Apparently, the Boruto anime addresses this by showing that after Konan's death, a power vacuum did indeed form in the village, leading it back to misery and civil strife, but I haven't watched the Boruto anime, and I don't know, it seems like something that should have been, addressed in the main series, but. So, yeah, in this version of events, the audience actually gets to see the evolution of the Hidden Rain village post-Pain, and other prominent Rain Village shinobi are put into the spotlight along with Konan, making the audience care more about what happens to it. Konan has come into her own as a true leader, fighting for her people and working towards peace. We see her struggles as she tries to fulfill Yahiko's dreams, with the shinobi of the Hidden Rain being extremely hesitant to fight alongside other nations, and talks of rebellions against her leadership start to form without Pain to keep everyone in line through fear and worship. Konan ultimately does not know herself if the decision she made was the right one, but she still makes it anyway and must shoulder the responsibility. And she refuses to stop wearing her Akatsuki cloak, unwilling to let go of what it represents to her. Then we get to the actual war itself, and I think many of you can see where this is going. There would be tense interactions between her and the Rain Village shinobi and the Hidden Leaf, what with the two factions being greatly at odds with each other considering the recent and not-so-recent past. Konan would get the chance to meet Tsunade and apologize to her personally for what she and Pain did to her village, telling her that she is now trying to make up for it. She even returns Jiraiya's corpse to her as a gesture of good faith. But what is most important is that Konan still being alive and leading her village in the Fourth Great Shinobi World War means that she will have the opportunity to meet the reanimated Nagato. Seeing as how Nagato was not redeemed and Konan was the one who killed him, this would lead to one hell of an emotional showdown. Nagato would be angry and resentful at Konan and would argue with her about how she is making a mistake, but Nagato also wouldn't want to fight her either. Kabuto would force Nagato to kill his own loyal subjects, which would be incredibly traumatic for both him and them, and Konan would try to invigorate her shinobi by telling them that if they care about their leader, they must lay him to rest as he is being manipulated by their enemy. Nagato, however, is too much for them to handle and wipes the floor with Konan. In a weakened state, Nagato confronts Konan. "Why are you doing this? Why are you throwing away our people's lives for nothing? What do you think would happen if I told them that you were the one who killed me? Do you think they would still follow you and try to fight to seal me? I'm assuming you lied to them and told them I was killed by Naruto. Did you really betray me because of what that fool Naruto said? Do you really believe in his naive optimism?" Konan responds, "Is it so naive? What's happening right now has never happened before. The Fourth Great Ninja War has broken out, but the great nations aren't fighting each other on the battlefield of smaller nations. They have all come together to fight for the common cause of defeating Madara, and so have I. And I hid your wound and told our people that you died of exhaustion. With your shriveled up body, it was an easy enough thing to believe. I am trying to save our village. I am trying to fulfill Yahiko's dream. This is my choice. I refuse to be your pawn, and I refuse to be Madara's either. He was just using us, Nagato. Can't you see that? There is a path to peace that doesn't have to be paved with fear and pain." As Kabuto forces Nagato to deal the killing blow on Konan, Naruto shows up to save her with B. Naruto is happy to see her again, and Konan is shocked by his transformation. Nagato is also shocked about the fact that Naruto now has the ability to control the Nine-Tails power after nearly being consumed by it during their fight, and is even more shocked about the fact that Naruto is working together with the Cloud Jinchuriki Killer Bee. Even so, Nagato continues to reinforce his own philosophy to Naruto, but Naruto just shuts him down and says that he doesn't care what Nagato thinks. "Listen up, jerk. I'm done trying to explain things to you. You have your philosophy and I have mine, and I'm sticking to it no matter what. That's my nindo, my ninja way. You should be grateful to Konan. She stepped up and became the leader that the Hidden Rain needed after you were gone. She prevented the Hidden Leaf from launching reprisals against the village. I can't let you kill her, so it looks like I'm just going to have to put you in the ground a second time." After this speech, Kabuto has Itachi come out of the nearby forest and join Nagato, and the fight against Killer Bee and Naruto progresses in much the same way it did in the original series, only with Konan and the Hidden Rain village watching. However, the end of the fight is changed. This time it is Konan who ultimately seals Nagato. Also, it is now, after being reanimated, and after hearing Konan's words, hearing Naruto's words, seeing him manage to control the Nine Tails chakra, and seeing him fight alongside Bee and Itachi, that Nagato actually begins to have a change of heart. Before he goes, he says, "Naruto, in the end, I still don't see eye to eye with you. I fought for my own idea of justice, and I lost. So now I suppose I have no choice but to believe in you, and hope that you will succeed where I and our sensei failed. Keep on surprising people. And Konan, thank you. And I'm sorry. Finally, to my people, your bravery in your battle against me is commendable. I believe the future of the village is in strong hands with you and your new leader." With Nagato's final words before being sealed, he and Konan get the closure they didn't have with Nagato's original death. And the Rain Village, seeing Bee and Naruto save them and hearing Nagato's final words, start to let go of their prejudice against other nations and open up more to the new path of the Hidden Rain Village. At the end of the fight, Naruto and Bee head off, as well as Itachi, while Konan stays with Nagato's seal in order to make sure it is not reopened by Kabuto. Her and the Rain Village shinobi continue to participate in the war, but this would be the bulk of the focus for them until they join the fight against the Ten Tails at the end with everyone else, after the reanimation jutsu is undone. Then, when everyone gets trapped in the infinite Tsukuyomi, Konan of course gets trapped in her ideal reality, where Nagato and Yahiko are still alive, along with Jiraiya-sensei, and the village is at peace. With Konan living all the way until the end of the series, after the infinite Tsukuyomi is undone, she returns with her people to the Hidden Rain Village, and continues being its leader. She tries to move her people past the great losses that were taken during the Fourth Great Ninja War. She continues her reforms and tries to improve the village, further opening it up to cooperation and connection with the rest of the world. In fact, with the Hidden Rain Village being a comparatively small and less powerful nation, the great nations often look to it for impartial mediation, as Konan has formed it into an actively neutral nation that pushes for non-violent solutions to every conflict, no matter who provokes it. The Hidden Rain Village is thriving and at peace, and Konan still regularly goes to visit the graves of her two friends, Yahiko and Nagato, with the pride of knowing that their original visions of the future were fulfilled. And that's it. That is my rewrite for Konan. Well, again, not really mine. Most of the ideas came from Net, which, once again, I am incredibly thankful for. I really just touched them up and expanded on them some more, because I just think they are so brilliant and do so much more justice to Konan than was given to her in the original series. But yeah, hope you all enjoyed the rewrite, and stick around for my upcoming Obito rewrite I mentioned before. Unlike this video, it will be my own original ideas for changing Obito's character, and it will probably be out by the end of the summer. Anyway, please subscribe and share, and go give Net some love in the comment section of my Sakura rewrite video. And as always, remember, just because you can't feel love doesn't mean you shouldn't want other people to. Bye!